Thank you, Mr. President. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is gonna talk about the hurricane. So the Orland Fire Protection District is not only an EMS and fire department, we're an all-hazard agency. That means we are trained in hazmat, technical rescue, and water rescue. So we do all of that. But the people who do that have to put in hundreds of hours of training in order to get on one of our teams, and has to have many certifications. We started our dive team here in Orland in 1980. We started our TRT team and our hazmat team in 1986. We were charter members of CART and charter members of Southwest Hazmat, which now is MABAS 19 Hazmat. In order to be part of these teams, you had to be one of the best here in Orland. Not anybody can get on a team. You have to have the commitment and the endurance and the training to be on one of these teams. As dangerous as firefighting is, being part of these teams takes it to a new level. After the terrorist attack on 9/11, a group of rescue personnel got together, led by the Northbrook Fire Department Chief, Jay Reardon, and we looked into Illinois' capabilities, and we realized that the state of Illinois was really ill-equipped to handle a terrorist attack or a major disaster as far as rescue goes. What came out of these meetings was the creation of Illinois Task Force 1. Illinois Task Force 1 consists of the best in EMS and technical rescue in the state of Illinois. Orland is a charter member. When Illinois Task Force 1 was created, Orland had 9 members on that team, which was the largest group of anybody in the state of Illinois. As the team evolved, we realized we needed swift water. And swift water became part of Illinois Task Force 1. Illinois Task Force 1 is Illinois' version of urban search and rescue. You see on TV in the earthquakes, building collapses, you see the federal USAR teams. Illinois Task Force 1 is Illinois' version of that. Now this team was deployed last year to Louisiana for Hurricane Ida. And of course, Lieutenant Ritchie went to Louisiana along with Chief Pertil. And back then, even though it was only a year or so ago, they got down there right after the hurricane hit, and they dealt with all the floods and the aftermath. So here comes Hurricane Helene. They made a request to Illinois for the Illinois Task Force 1 Swiftwater team. But what was different this time around was they said, we want your team deployed prior to the event even happening, which was new for us because we were used to coming in after the storm hit. So this time was totally different. And once again, Lieutenant Ritchie was the first one to put his hand up and say, listen, Chief, I'm ready. I've done it before. I know what to do. I want to go ahead and do it. This mission was different than any other mission we did in the past. And this mission was extremely dangerous because of the way we responded to this mission. At this time, I want to bring Lieutenant Ritchie up. I want to have him explain what they encountered and why it was so different than the last one. Lieutenant?
Thanks, Chief. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to first start off saying thank you to Chief Schofield and the rest of our chiefs, our administration, for granting me the privilege to be a part of that team, to go through these trainings. And Battalion Chief Pertil was instrumental in me becoming a part of Illinois Task Force 1. Without their support, there's no way I would have had the training or the opportunity to go and do what I've done. As he stated, Chief Pertil and I have gone out on 2 deployments together. The first one was here in our state of Illinois, down south in Hardin. Then we went out to Louisiana, and this was the first trip, as Chief Schofield was saying, that we went out before the storm hit out to North Carolina. It was last minute. I put my hand up. Chief allowed me to go, and I also had to check in with my boss at home, my wife Amy, who was my hero for managing the kids, taking care of all their school stuff, all their extracurricular activities, and holding down the fort while, as she likes to say, I was out playing on a boat for 15 days. But the first day we got there, it was starting to rain, nothing too crazy, and we started doing pre-evacuations. We were just outside of the airport trying to convince people that this is gonna be a terrible storm, terrible flooding, you guys should come with us. I think we only evacuated about five or six people. Most people wanted to stay in their homes. Never made it back to that area the next morning, so I don't know how any of them fared. We were spending the night in a firehouse that first night we got there. I don't think we went to bed until about 1 in the morning. At about 4:30 or so in the morning, our team leader was deployed with 12 other members from various fire departments. Our team leader came in, turned on the lights, started kicking all of our cots, saying we're being evacuated. We thought we were in trouble and that we were starting to flood. He cleared it up real quick, said, no, we're going to evacuate people. We gotta go. So, we're getting to do the job that we trained for. We're all excited. Get down to the bay floor, put on our Swiftwater gear, throw our bags in the trucks, and we start rolling out. We got an assignment. We get 2 miles away from the firehouse, roads closed. Power lines down, road flooded. Now we're trying to find another way to get there. Alternate route, road down, flooded, power lines. Third alternate way to get there. We got a tree, a couple trees laid out in the roadway. We're out there trying to saw through the tree branches to get through. It was brutal. We couldn't get anywhere. Roads were shut down. We were outside on the highway, clearing trees off the highway so we can get to where the people are that needed help. And as we're cutting trees on the middle of the highway, you hear these thunderous cracks. It's more trees falling right by us. There were 2 firefighters who actually killed on the line of duty that day when a tree fell on their rig. We were very fortunate that we all made it back okay. There was a couple times where every time we couldn't get to the location they were trying to send us to, they'd reroute us to a different problem area. One of the problem areas we were going to, we got off the highway, roads were fine. Start going up the road and all of a sudden we're driving through water that's rushing over the roadway, and on both sides of the highway it's a raging rapid. I'm like, this doesn't look too good. And we're in 3 big trucks towing our boats, and get to another area, more water on the highway, and all of a sudden we got water coming over the hood of our truck. Now, if you understand the power of water, it doesn't take a lot of water moving at that speed to wash a vehicle off the roadway. So here we are in our truck watching the water wash over the hood, like, we're gonna put on our life jackets now and button those up, and we got window punches and we're looking for easy ways out if it's needed. We get to a location, we can't get any further. We can't get to where they need us. They turn us around again. Now I gotta go back through the water that we just traveled through. So we stop, we regroup, come up with a plan where we're gonna be right on top of each other's bumpers. And we got our biggest truck leading the way, kind of making a wake for us. And we figured since we're going with the flow of water, it might be a little bit easier for us. So we're cruising down the roadway, and all of a sudden, look back behind us, one of my pickups was towing the boat, and our boat trailer starts going off the road. Thankfully, we caught the ground again and we were able to move on. We ended up being stuck on the roadway for probably about an hour and a half due to the floodwaters. We couldn't go anywhere. And we get word that there's a sheriff's deputy stuck under a viaduct. And the viaduct and the highway is right in front of us, so we launch our boats on the highway and go search for her. Cleared a couple vehicles there. Turns out she was at another location. We finally ended up getting to the town called Swannanoa, which is just outside of Asheville. And we were told to go to a gas station. The fire chief there is going to meet us. Now at this point, there is 0 cell service, 0 power. All we're operating on are our radios. Civilians can't call, we can't use our phones to look at maps. And we get to this tiny gas station in Swannanoa. Fire chief shows up, and we see rescues happening just about a mile down the road. There are active rescues going on where one of the rescue teams lost one of their boats, and all the members went into the water. Thankfully, they're all retrieved. We're going up the road now into the town of Swannanoa, and we see someone running with a bunch of rope, and all of a sudden he stops and flags us down. We had no idea what we were getting into. Back our boats down this alleyway behind this apartment complex. Turns out there was a trailer park complex back there. And there was people screaming, firing off guns, trying to get attention because there was no way to call us. So they were making a whole bunch of ruckus. We launch our 2 boats, and we're met with people everywhere. I don't know what the count was, if it was 16 or 19 people or something like that I think we rescued within the span of about an hour. First victim we picked off was hanging in a tree. He was there for hours, suffering from hypothermia. Thankfully, he was able to hold on. We got him out first. We had other houses that were washed away, and thankfully, it was a wooded area because the river was raging right behind this whole complex. And the only thing that saved some of these houses from being washed downstream were the line of trees. We were standing on one of the house's foundations, pulling members off their roof and bringing them back. During the rescue operation, we actually lost one of our boats because we're not driving anywhere in Lake Michigan. We're driving in flooded rapids where you have no idea what the hazards are, but there was fence posts, lawnmowers, cars, tables, chairs. We were hitting all sorts of stuff out there with our boat. And one boat lost all of its baffles while they had victims in it. They had 2 or 3 victims in it. They were able to make it back, thankfully, safe and sound. Then it was our turn to run the gauntlet with 3 victims. And with all the crap that you hit in the boat, sometimes it'll foul up the prop. And so you don't ruin the prop or the motor turns off. Now you can imagine being in a rapid water situation, you don't want to really lose your motor. Thankfully, there were 2 good bowmen in the boat with me. They were able to keep the boat pointed in the right direction as we were getting washed into what we call strainers, which are just piles of debris and trees that if you end up in the water into a strainer, it's very difficult to make your way out of it. So we're able to get the boat going again, get everyone back to shore safely, but that's some of the most harrowing thing I've ever done in my career. It was amazing to be a part of it, but sorry, looking at my family. And their faces, like, it's something I love to be a part of. And I'm grateful I got the opportunity to do something that, most people won't be able to do in their career. And I know it's risky. I don't know if they knew how risky it was, but love my job, love the opportunity, and I try to keep it light for them. I'd send my kids pictures of me taking my excavator for a walk down the river, and just about every animal I came across. I was taking selfies with dogs, cows, I think a couple pigs in there. But that Friday was crazy. It was an insane day. Super proud of all the guys that I went there with and everything that we were able to accomplish. And the rest of the trip was, spent doing humanitarian stuff, handing out food, handing out water. We've got this app on our phone that we take pictures of all the damage and mark like down bridges, damaged houses, and that all gets relayed to FEMA live at that moment, so I can see where all the damage is and who needs all the help. But getting to meet some of those residents who were cut off from everything, being able to give them water, give them food, meet their children, take them for a ride on our UTV and stuff like that. That was a great part of the trip. There were areas that we were operating in that, you know, we didn't get there for a week, and we were still the first people that they saw. So it was great to be a part of it. It was harrowing. It was a tough job out there for that day when the storm was raging. But from there on, you know, it was a great trip. Great to get out there and give those people a hand, and they're still struggling out there, and they still need help, and hopefully they're getting it. But can't thank you guys enough for giving me the privilege to go.
Thanks for doing it. Dan. We appreciate it. So at this time, I'm going to bring up Illinois Task Force 1 team leader and our battalion chief, John Pertell, to present to Lieutenant Ritchie a plaque, and then to the fire district.
Since the big guy here is Dan Ritchie first, we'll start off with him. So MABAS is giving this award and decoration to Dan Ritchie from Illinois Task Force 1, Humanitarian Service Medal for Hurricane Helene, state of North Carolina. Response and relief effort to Daniel Ritchie, Illinois Task Force 1, for outstanding and sustained individual and team actions for the period of September to October 2024 in service within the state of North Carolina, Hurricane Helene response and relief effort. Congratulations. And our operations chief wasn't able to make it tonight, so in lieu of him doing it, MABAS would like to present to the Orland Fire Protection District in appreciation for your support of the MABAS Swiftwater Rescue Team's deployment to North Carolina in response to Hurricane Helene, September and October 2024, MABAS Humanitarian Award.
Thank you.
Can I get in this, Katie? Should have done there.
Once again, we thank all our rescue teams and all our rescuers for what they do. We don't do it a lot, but we do it a couple of times a year, and when Illinois Task Force 1 is called out, it's a very dangerous situation. And believe me, you know, as chief, it's like your kid's going out somewhere. You don't go to bed or you don't go to sleep until you know they're all safe. You know, I say this all the time, that here in the Orland Fire District, we are all family. And I think everybody knows that. You know, knows our commitment to our people. You know, if we expect our people to go out and help other people, they have to know that they're cared for too. When we take care of our own, they take care of the citizens. On September 14th, 2024, it started out like any normal day here in the Orland Fire District on a Saturday. We start shift at 7 o'clock. The crews start their vehicle checks. 7:30, there's a Zoom meeting with the chief and all the lieutenants. I was picking my grandson up that morning. We were going to have what we call a Jack and Papa Day. So I was already at his house. They live in Orland, and I was picking him up. So at around 7:50, Station 1 started to do a drill. So every morning, you know, especially on the weekends, you know, we have a lot of new guys here and girls. You know, we have a big turnover because a lot of people retire. So we have a lot of new recruits. So we take every opportunity we can to train them. So they were doing a training drill that morning. During that drill, firefighter Carp collapsed. And he collapsed right on one of our firefighters. And our guys did what they do on every call. This crew reacted immediately. Now here in the fire district, we had just installed brand new high definition cameras. So everything that happened, we were able to watch. So his crew reacted immediately. And they went from firefighter mode, drilling, right into paramedic mode, without missing a beat. There was no confusion. There was nobody, there was no panic. They quickly got the firefighter out of his gear and started CPR. Can you imagine doing CPR on somebody you love? I mean, Jim's our brother, and this is a partner that they work with every single day. Within a few minutes, and for this crew, it probably seemed a lifetime, after some ALS treatment, they got him back. By got him back, I mean, he had a pulse, and he started to take a couple breaths. I always tell everybody that the Orland Fire District, our paramedics are the best of the best. And in an extremely stressful situation, they proved it. They are the best of the best. So I received a phone call from Battalion Chief Tufts. Now, Chief Tufts is new to being a battalion chief at this time, and he informed me of the situation. He said one of our firefighters is down, cardiac arrest. I just happened to be at 151 in LaGrange. So I was at the station in less than 30 seconds, and I was there before they loaded him on the stretcher. As he was being loaded on the stretcher, I'm not sure which of the guys it was, but he gave me a thumbs up. He said, we got a pulse. On September 14th, all of our training, all of our state-of-the-art equipment, and the leadership of the lieutenant and the battalion chief proved our commitment, not only to the residents, but our own people. Without a doubt, if this happened anywhere else, the outcome probably wouldn't be the same. This was an extraordinarily tough position to see your partner, your friend, and the person you work with every day collapse and not be breathing and not have a heartbeat. But for our paramedics here, I don't want to say it was routine, but they did everything they do in the street. And they did it without any confusion, without any yelling or screaming. It almost looked like it was one of our EMS drills. Everything was quiet. Everything was done efficiently and quickly. But the most important thing is, Jim is here. Jim is here. He went back to his wife, his son Ian. He's able to see his father and his mother. And that's a testament to who we are as an organization and what we do. Doesn't matter if you're our brother or our resident. They proved that day that they do the same. Whether it was in the firehouse or in the street, nobody does it better than the Orland Fire District paramedics. At this time, I want to bring up Chief Tufts and former Lieutenant Carl Jones, who had a couple of choice words for the chief.
I'm open to expressing my feelings, Chief.
I went up to him right when he was getting the ambulance. I said, how you doing? He said, how the F you think I'm doing? Can you just explain in your own words what went on? Because you know what? We did something we usually never do. After this happened, these guys were second guessing themselves. These are the bosses. They're like, could we done anything better? Well, we had the entire thing on tape. And we showed them. There was nothing you could have done better. It was probably one of the most perfect cardiac arrests that we've ever saw. So, Chief Tufts, you want to say a couple words on what went down and how you dealt with it?
Sure. I just found out I was speaking, so I don't want to make too much more of it than it is, but
Well, it is a big deal.
we do this kind of stuff quite often. You know, we deal with difficult situations. We make a career out of responding to people's houses on the worst days of their lives. This was probably the worst day of our career, although it had a good resolution. You think that you're immune to it, that you get jaded, I guess, I don't know, but you don't. And when it's someone you know, feels like a completely different situation. The difference is that when you have the training, even when your mind is a jumble, the work goes on exactly the way it's supposed to go. So when Chief Schofield says that he watches the video and it looked really smooth, and I did watch the video and it did look really smooth, to us, it felt pretty chaotic because we were not expecting to see one of our own members in that situation. All of this is exacerbated by the fact that he was in full firefighting gear at the time. If you don't have any familiarity with that stuff, it's very difficult to get it off of an unconscious person. You can't cut through it. You have to peel it off piece by piece. You have to have access to them to be able to do the interventions that we did. Unfortunately, we train on that also. It's a skill I had hoped we'd never have to do, but fortunately we were trained on it and we did it well. I'm just glad that Jim's here. I think that's the most important thing. This is not at all about me or Carl or the other members of the crew that worked really, really well. This is about Jim and his family, and he's here, and that's the most important thing of all of it. And I'm just glad hope that he has many more happy years with his family. So that's really all I have to say about it. It was very stressful, and these guys are amazing to work with, and you know, they saved Jim's life. So.
You want to say anything?
Sure. I was the senior lieutenant that day. I set up the drill schedule, everything like that for the day. One thing I have to say is my crew is willing and wants to train every single day. They know if they're working with me or in Orland Fire, we're gonna drill on something every day. And throughout the year, we've conducted that exact drill that we went through. So I think it's a testament to our training division. I think it's a testament to our EMS division and their leadership and their training. All of our training is realistic, relevant, and challenging. And oh boy, that day it was challenging. You never expected to hit home. You always think it's some kind of drill off in the future for other departments, but at some point it's got to be your department. And I can't say enough about my crew. Without hesitation, handled the situation just like it was a drill. And we did watch the video, and it looked like the most smooth drill you've ever seen in your life. All the way down to our newest members, Chella and Knights. It was awesome.
At this time, we're going to bring the crew up.
Lieutenant Kevin Crawley. Firefighter Knights. Firefighter Chella.
And former lieutenant.
And former Lieutenant Carl Jones.
At this time,
Give it to us.
what's that?
We're giving it to a second right now.
Yeah, we'd like to bring up the Karp family. Jimmy? I had a nickname for Jim. I'd call him Ray. And the reason I call him Ray is because he was in charge of our radios. And we had new radios and he was programming. Yeah, Melissa, is your son here? No, he's not.
No.
Okay. So, this is the other end of what we do. We don't always get to see or talk to the people we save. But in this situation, not only we talk to them, and we're gonna work with them again. He's gonna be coming back to work in the next couple of months, which is the ultimate end of this story. That our brother here, who was in cardiac arrest, who wasn't breathing, had no pulse, is actually gonna come back to work and be part of the organization and hopefully save more lives in the future. Jimmy, you got anything to say?
Just thank you guys, and thank you to the district. I don't think I did not go a day at the hospital without a handful of guys being up there to see me. I know Melissa didn't go even during surgery, when I was in surgery, without you being out there, Chief, and it's very appreciated. I know that you relieved, all the guys that worked on me of duty that day, and a couple of them actually came back up and saw me afterwards, and it was nice. And I don't really have much else.
Melissa?
I mean, constantly, even to this day, we have guys calling a couple times a week, checking on us, seeing if there's anything they need. It's just hope I would never have to see this side of it, but it's definitely one big family, and I appreciate everything.
Well, guys, thanks for everything you did. And Jimmy, thanks for being here. Of the police department back when Chief McCarthy was the chief, and they decided to build a new police station. Now the old police station's down the street, 146 in Ravinia, and they had a lot of sites they could have chose anywhere in the district, but we all knew that all police officers want to be firefighters. So of all the places in Orland, they chose the only building across the street from a firehouse.
So if I could have the Cart family come on back up for a second. All right. So my name is Mike Freeman. This is Pat Gallagher, Terry Kelly Allen. Every year we do a no shave event. This year it's kind of worked out. We actually did it starting in September. So we collected money in September. From there, it was October, November, December, and the purpose of it was obviously to raise money for helping people out. During that time, we raised $10,000. So of the $10,000, we took that and we split it up between 4 different people and or families that we thought could help just use something extra. So of $2,500 went to a person who was battling leukemia for a Chicago Heights police officer. $2,500 went to a former police officer. His sister was battling cancer. $2,500 went to a former CSO who's just had a very rough go. He's currently a state trooper. He got hit by a car. And then $2,500 is going to go to the Cart family. Thank you very much. So this is for you and your family. Obviously what it comes down to is that we looked at everything. We took all that into account. It's from the entire agency. All we can say is we do appreciate it. I'm not saying we all want to be firemen. I'll tell you right now, for what it's worth, you guys need heroes too. That's why I'm here. It's not a big deal. But in the grand scheme of things, I even heard the stories earlier. Like, you guys are great. I've worked with a lot of different agencies. I've had the opportunity to do so, and I can tell you right now, I really appreciate what you guys do. I've seen numerous times where we show up on calls, and it's like, oh, hey, this is not going to work out. And I've seen you guys bring people back to life numerous times. It was awesome. So to see it worked out for you, your family, that's huge. So, thank you. Thank you.